Maya thought she knew what love looked like until the night her husband chose reputation over her heart. When Ethan invited his secretary to the corporate gala instead of his own wife, he believed no one would ever know. But what he didn't expect was the woman in gold who would walk through those doors and shatter his carefully constructed lie in front of everyone who mattered. One entrance, one moment of devastating clarity, and a choice that would either destroy their marriage forever or force him to become the man she always deserved. This is the story of a betrayal so quiet it whispered, a humiliation so public it echoed, and a love so tested it had to be rebuilt from ashes. Subscribe and comment below if you've ever had to choose between your dignity and your heart, because this story is about to show you what happens when a woman stops shrinking and starts shining. The invitation sat on Ethan's desk like an accusation, heavy cream cardstock, gold-embossed lettering, the firm's logo pressed into the corner with precision that matched everything about Turner and Associates, polished, perfect, and quietly demanding. Annual corporate gala. Spouses encouraged. Ethan picked it up for the third time that morning, reading words he already knew by heart. His fingers traced the edge of the card, while his stomach twisted into a familiar knot. "You going?" Marcus from accounting leaned against the doorframe, coffee in hand. "Yeah, of course." Ethan set the invitation down, arranging it perfectly parallel to his keyboard. "Bringing Maya?" The question landed heavier than it should have. Ethan's hand froze on his mouse, still figuring that out. Marcus raised an eyebrow but didn't push. "Well, it's always a good time. Graham throws a hell of a party." When Marcus left, Ethan stared at the invitation again. He pictured the ballroom at the Langham Hotel, crystal chandeliers, black tie, the partners and their wives in designer gowns discussing vacation homes and charity boards. Then he pictured Maya. His wife was beautiful. God, she was stunning, but she wasn't like them. She didn't talk about country clubs or know which fork to use first. She wore bright colors and laughed too loud and got excited about fabric samples. The other executives would notice. Graham would notice. Ethan pressed his palms against his eyes. He loved Maya, he did. But love and image were different things, and image mattered in his world. It mattered a lot. That evening, he found Maya in their kitchen, humming while she stirred something that smelled like heaven. She'd changed out of her work clothes. She ran a small design business from home and wore an old Northwestern sweatshirt and leggings. Her natural hair was pulled back in a messy bun. "Hey, baby," she turned, smiling. "How was work?" "Long." He kissed her cheek, tasting vanilla. "What's cooking?" "Trying a new curry recipe. Mom sent it." She handed him the spoon. "Taste." He did. It was perfect, just like everything she made. "Amazing." "Yeah?" Her whole face lit up. That smile could still make his chest tight. They sat down for dinner, and Ethan pushed food around his plate, building up to it. "So, the firm's having its annual gala next month." Maya looked up. "Oh, that fancy thing you mentioned before?" "Yeah." "When is it?" "The 23rd. I'll mark it down." She reached for her phone. "Actually," Ethan cleared his throat, "it's mostly a work thing. Partners only. You know how it is." Maya's hand stopped. She studied him for a long moment, her smile fading into something more careful. "Mostly. Graham's really particular about keeping it professional." "Professional." She set her fork down. "But you said spouses before." "It's optional." The lie felt thick in his mouth. "A lot of people go solo." Maya nodded slowly. She didn't argue. She never did. That was the thing about Maya. She trusted him completely, and somehow that made this worse. "Okay," she said quietly, "if that's what they want." They finished dinner in near silence. Later, lying in bed, Ethan felt Maya's warmth beside him and hated himself just a little bit more. The next morning at the office, Chloe knocked on his door. "Mister." "Hale, do you have a second?" "Sure, come in." His secretary was 26, fresh out of grad school, and eager in the way young professionals are when they're still hungry for success. She wore conservative suits and kept her blonde hair in a neat ponytail, and had probably never missed a deadline in her life. "I heard about the gala," she said. "It sounds incredible." "It's all right. Pretty standard corporate event. I've never been to anything like that." She hesitated in the doorway. "Is it really at the Langham?" "Yeah, Graham likes to make an impression." "I bet." Chloe fidgeted with her notebook. "Do you think, is there any chance associates could attend, even just to help with coordination?" An idea formed. A terrible, cowardly idea. "Actually," Ethan heard himself say, "I could use a +1, just for appearances, networking purposes." Chloe's eyes widened. "Really?" "Sure. You'd get to meet the senior partners. Good for your career. That would be amazing. Her whole face brightened. Thank you, Mr. Hale. After she left, Ethan sat very still, staring at nothing. What are you doing? But he already knew. He was taking the easy way out, taking someone who fit the mold, someone Graham and the others would approve of without a second thought. That night, Maya had dinner waiting again. She'd made his favorite, pot roast with roasted vegetables. The house smelled like home. Good day? She asked. Yeah, fine. He loosened his tie. Listen about the gala. Turns out spouses really aren't required this year, firm policy. Maya's hands stilled on the serving spoon. Oh, I'll probably just go solo, make an appearance and head out early. Right, she served his plate carefully. That makes sense. But something in her voice had changed, something small and hurt that she was trying to hide. They ate dinner, they watched TV, they went to bed. And Ethan lay awake, listening to his wife breathe, knowing he'd just chosen his reputation over her heart. Maya couldn't sleep. She waited until Ethan's breathing deepened, until she was sure he was out. Then, carefully slid from bed. In the living room, she opened her laptop. Her fingers trembled slightly as she typed, Turner and Associates Annual Gala. The firm's website loaded. She clicked through to the events page. Our annual corporate celebration. Black tie. Spouses encouraged. A night of elegance and connection. Spouses encouraged. Maya read it 3 times. Then she closed the laptop and sat in the darkness of their living room, her chest tight. He'd lied. Her husband had looked her in the eye and lied. But why? She thought about the few times she'd met people from his work, the way conversation always seemed to pause when she entered a room, the careful smiles, the questions that felt like inspections. Where did you go to school? Oh. And what do you do? Oh, how interesting. She'd never fit. She'd always known that. Ethan's world was country clubs and connections, people who'd grown up with money and expectations. Her world was Sunday dinners at her mom's house and helping her brother fix cars and dancing in the kitchen while she cooked. She'd thought love was enough to bridge that gap. Maybe she'd been wrong. The next morning, Maya made breakfast like always, kissed Ethan goodbye like always, smiled like always. But when he drove away, she picked up her phone. Mom, you busy? I need to talk. Carla Ellis had the kind of presence that filled a room without effort. She was 55, a retired nurse, and the strongest woman Maya had ever known. She'd raised 2 kids alone after Maya's father passed, worked double shifts and never once complained. They met for lunch at Carla's house, a small brick ranch in Evanston that still smelled like the lavender sachets her mother tucked everywhere. Baby girl. Carla took one look at Maya's face and pulled her into a hug. What happened? Maya told her everything. The invitation, the lies, the website. Carla listened without interrupting, her jaw tightening with every word. That boy, she finally said, shaking her head. I love Ethan, you know I do, but this is cowardice. He's embarrassed of me. No, Carla gripped Maya's hands. He's embarrassed of himself, of his own fear. That's different. It doesn't feel different. I know, honey. I know. Carla's eyes softened. What are you going to do? Maya had been asking herself the same question all morning. She could confront him, demand the truth, fight, or she could do something else. I'm going to that gala, she said quietly. Carla's eyebrows rose. Without telling him? Not exactly without telling him. A strange calm settled over Maya. I'm going to show him what he's so afraid of, and then he can decide. Decide what? If he wants to keep being afraid, or if he wants to keep me. That afternoon, Maya drove home early. She parked down the street and walked to the house quietly, key already in hand. Inside, she heard Ethan's voice from his home office. Right. So when we arrive, I'll introduce you as my associate. Just keep it professional and you'll be fine. Yes, Chloe, I appreciate you doing this. Maya's hand froze on the doorknob. Chloe, his secretary. He wasn't going alone. He was taking another woman. For a moment, Maya couldn't breathe. The betrayal hit her so hard her knees nearly buckled, but she stayed silent, forcing herself to listen. It's just easier this way, Ethan continued. Graham's pretty old school about these things. Appearances matter. You understand? Yes, Maya thought. She understood perfectly. She backed away from the door, moving silently. In their bedroom, she sat on the edge of the bed they shared and stared at her hands. She could cry. Part of her wanted to, but a bigger part of her was just tired. Tired of being the secret, tired of being the problem, tired of shrinking herself to fit into Ethan's fear. She picked up her phone and called her best friend Rachel. Hey girl, what's up? Rach. Maya's voice was steady, eerily steady. I need your help, and I need to borrow your gold dress. Rachel knew immediately. What did he do? He forgot who I am. I'm going to remind him. When? The 23rd. There's a gala. I'll be there in 20 minutes. And Maya, yeah? It's time to let them all see what he's been hiding. For the next 2 weeks, Maya said nothing. She smiled at Ethan over breakfast, kissed him goodnight, acted like everything was fine. But inside, she was building something. Not anger exactly. Something stronger. Dignity. She spent her mornings working on client projects. Her afternoons she spent preparing. Rachel helped her shop, not for a new dress, but for confidence. They got her hair done at a salon in the city. Professional, elegant, stunning. Girl, you look like royalty, Rachel breathed when it was finished. Maya studied herself in the mirror. Her natural hair was shaped into a crown of perfect coils. Her skin glowed. Her eyes were bright with something that looked almost like peace. I look like myself, she said, just reminded of it. The night before the gala, Maya's brother Jordan stopped by. Jordan was 31, 6'2", and built like he spent half his life under cars, which he did. He took one look at Maya's face and sat down heavily. He's messing up, isn't he? Yeah. Want me to talk to him? Not yet. Let me handle this first. Jordan nodded slowly. But if he doesn't fix it, I know. You'll break him. She smiled slightly. I love you too, big brother. On the morning of the gala, Ethan was nervous. Maya could see it in the way he checked his appearance 3 times, adjusted his cufflinks, paced. Big night, she said casually, sipping coffee. Yeah, just want everything to go smoothly. I'm sure it will, she met his eyes. You always know how to make the right impression. Something flickered in his expression. Guilt, maybe, or shame, but he pushed it away. I should get going. Event starts at 7, but Graham wants us there early. Have fun. He kissed her forehead. Love you. I know you do, Maya said. After he left, she stood in their empty house for a long moment. Then she went upstairs and opened Rachel's garment bag. The dress was gold, not bright but deep and shimmering like sunset on water. It fit her perfectly, hugging curves she usually hid under casual clothes. The neckline was elegant, respectful, but impossible to ignore. She did her own makeup, simple, classic, red lips. When Rachel arrived at 6, she actually gasped. Maya, oh my God, too much? Not enough. You're going to stop traffic. Rachel's eyes shone. You ready for this? Maya took one last look in the mirror. She saw herself clearly, all of herself, the parts Ethan loved, the parts he'd tried to hide. Yeah, she said. I'm ready. At 7:15, Maya walked through the doors of the Langham Hotel. The lobby alone was stunning. Marble floors, cascading flowers, soft lighting that made everything glow. A young man in a crisp suit directed her toward the ballroom. Name, please? Maya Hale. He checked his list, then paused. Mrs. Hale? That's right. His expression shifted slightly. Of course. Right this way. The ballroom was enormous. Crystal chandeliers hung from vaulted ceilings, round tables draped in white linen, a string quartet playing something classical, women in designer gowns, men in tuxedos, and in the center of it all, by the bar, Ethan stood next to a pretty blonde woman in a black dress. Chloe. He was laughing at something someone said, relaxed in a way he never quite was at home. Graham Turner stood beside him, grey-haired and commanding, holding court like the king he thought he was. Maya took a breath. Then she walked forward. It happened slowly. One person noticed, then another. Heads turned. Conversations quieted. The woman in gold moving through the room like light itself. Ethan was mid-sentence when he felt the shift, the sudden silence. He turned and stopped breathing. Maya. His wife stood 10 feet away, absolutely radiant. Her dress caught the light. Her hair framed her face like art. Her eyes met his with perfect calm. Hi, honey, she said softly. Surprised? The ballroom went completely still. Chloe's face drained of color. Graham's smile froze. Every executive, every spouse, every server, all of them stared. Ethan's mouth opened, closed. No words came. Maya walked closer, her heels clicking on marble. She stopped directly in front of him. I know you said it was work only. Her voice was gentle, sweet even. But I checked the website. Spouses encouraged, so I thought I'd come see what all the fuss was about. Maya. His voice cracked. She turned to Graham, extending her hand. You must be Mr. Turner. I'm Maya Hale, Ethan's wife. Graham took her hand automatically, his expression unreadable. Mrs. Hale, I wasn't aware. That Ethan was married? Maya's smile never wavered. Oh yes, 3 years now. Time flies. Then she looked at Chloe. The young woman looked like she wanted to disappear. And you must be his secretary. I've heard so much about you. Maya's voice held no anger, just facts. Thank you for keeping him company tonight. Chloe's eyes filled with tears. I didn't know. He said, it's okay. Maya touched her arm briefly. You didn't do anything wrong. The kindness in that gesture hit harder than any accusation could have. Maya stepped back, taking in the room, all the stares, the shock, the whispers starting at the edges. Well, she smoothed her dress, this has been lovely. Thank you all for your hospitality. She turned and walked toward the exit. Maya, wait. Ethan finally found his voice. She paused, looking back. For just a second, he saw it. The hurt beneath the dignity. The broken heart she was holding together with pure will. I deserved better than this, she said quietly. We both know that. Then she was gone, vanishing through the doors like a dream. The ballroom erupted in whispers. Ethan stood frozen, his entire world cracking apart. Graham's hand landed on his shoulder, hard. My office, Monday morning. But Ethan barely heard him. He was already moving, pushing through the crowd, desperate to reach the lobby. By the time he got there, Maya's car was pulling away, taillights disappearing into Chicago traffic, and Ethan Hale realized far too late exactly what he'd just lost. Ethan stood in the hotel lobby until security asked if he was all right. Yeah, he lied. I'm fine. But he wasn't fine. His hands were shaking. His chest felt like someone had reached inside and ripped something essential out. Behind him, the gala continued. Music played. People laughed. His entire professional circle was in there, watching his marriage disintegrate in real time. He should go back. Apologize to Graham. Smooth things over. Instead, he walked outside and called Maya, straight to voicemail. He tried again, and again, 10 times in as many minutes. Nothing. Finally, he texted, please, let me explain. The response came 30 seconds later. There's nothing to explain. I saw everything I needed to see. Ethan leaned against the building, the November wind cutting through his tuxedo. He'd prepared for so many things tonight. The right conversations, the right impressions, the right moves for his career. He hadn't prepared for the look in his wife's eyes when she walked away. Inside, Chloe appeared, coat already on. I'm leaving, she said quietly. I just wanted to say, I'm sorry. I should have asked more questions. No, Ethan shook his head. This is on me, all of it. She's beautiful, you know. Your wife. I know. Then why? Chloe stopped herself. Never mind. It's none of my business. She walked away, and Ethan was alone again. His phone buzzed. Not Maya. Graham. We need to talk. Now. Ethan went back inside. The ballroom felt different now. Hostile somehow. People's eyes followed him. Conversations stopped when he passed. He found Graham in a private room off the main hall pouring scotch. Sit. Ethan sat. Graham downed his drink in one swallow. 20 years I've been running this firm. 20 years of building reputation, and you just embarrassed us in front of our biggest clients. I'm sorry. Sorry? Graham's voice was ice. Your wife showed up in gold and made you look like a fool. Made all of us look like fools. That's not what happened. No? Then explain it to me, Hale. Explain why your secretary was on your arm while your wife crashed the party like some... Don't. Ethan stood up. Don't finish that sentence. Graham's eyes narrowed. Excuse me. Maya didn't crash anything. She had every right to be here. I lied to her. This is my fault. Your fault? Your judgment is what I'm questioning. Who you choose to associate with reflects on this entire company. Something cold settled in Ethan's stomach. What are you saying? I'm saying we expect our partners to maintain certain standards, in business and in life. The implication hung in the air like poison. You're talking about my wife, Ethan said slowly. My black wife. That's what this is really about. Graham's expression didn't change. I'm talking about fit, culture, the image we present to clients. Some people understand our world, others don't. Ethan had heard versions of this before. Subtle comments, careful language. He'd always let it slide, told himself it wasn't that simple, convinced himself he was being oversensitive. But watching Graham now, seeing the cold dismissal in his eyes, Ethan finally understood. This was exactly that simple. I need to go, Ethan said. We're not finished. Yes, we are. He walked out, through the ballroom where people whispered, through the lobby where staff pretended not to stare, into the November night that felt warmer than anything inside that building. He drove home on autopilot. Their house was dark. Maya's car wasn't in the driveway. Inside, evidence of her was everywhere. Her coffee cup in the sink, her sketchbooks on the dining table, the throw blanket she always wrapped herself in while watching TV. Ethan sank onto the couch and put his head in his hands. What have I done? Maya drove for 30 minutes before the tears came. She'd held it together in that ballroom, held it together walking out, held it through the lobby and the valet and the long stretch of Lakeshore Drive. But now, alone in her car, the dignity finally cracked. She pulled into a Target parking lot and sobbed, not delicate tears, real, ugly crying that made her shoulders shake and her breath come in gasps. 3 years of marriage, 3 years of loving someone who couldn't quite love her back the right way. She'd known his colleagues made him nervous, known he worried about fitting in, but she'd thought, hoped, that their love was stronger than his fear. Tonight proved otherwise. Her phone buzzed. Ethan again. She turned it off. 20 minutes later, she composed herself enough to drive. She didn't go home. Couldn't. Instead, she drove to her mother's house in Evanston. Carla opened the door in her robe, took one look at Maya's face, and pulled her inside without a word. They sat at the kitchen table, the same one Maya had done homework at as a kid. While Carla made tea, neither of them would drink. "Tell me," Carla said. Maya told her everything. The entrance, the silence, the way Ethan froze, Chloe's tears, Graham's expression. "And then I left," Maya finished. "Just walked out like it was nothing. But it wasn't nothing. No." Maya's voice broke. "It was everything." Carla reached across the table and gripped her daughter's hand. "You did the right thing tonight." "Did I? Maybe I should have stayed quiet. Should have stayed quiet?" Carla's voice sharpened. "Baby, you are not the problem here. You never were. That boy chose fear over love, and you showed him exactly what that choice looks like. But I love him, Mom. I know you do. But love isn't enough if he's ashamed to stand beside you." The words hit like a slap. True and terrible. "What do I do now?" Carla squeezed her hand. "You protect yourself. You set boundaries. And you let him figure out if he's strong enough to be the man you deserve. And if he's not," her mother's eyes softened, "then you'll survive, because you're my daughter, and we don't break. We bend. We hurt. But we don't break." Maya stayed that night in her old bedroom. Carla had kept it mostly the same. Twin bed, posters of artists Maya loved, her high school track ribbons. She lay in that narrow bed, staring at the ceiling, and tried to imagine her life without Ethan. It hurt too much, so she stopped trying. The next morning, Ethan woke on the couch, still in his tuxedo. His phone showed 23 missed calls, most from Graham, several from colleagues, one from his mother, none from Maya. He called in sick to work, first time in 4 years, and drove to Carla's house. Maya's car sat in the driveway. Relief flooded through him. Carla answered his knock. Her expression was not welcoming. "Mrs. Ellis, I need to talk to Maya. She doesn't want to see you. Please, I know I messed up. I know I..." "Messed up?" Carla's voice was quiet, dangerous. "Ethan, you took another woman to a party and told your wife she wasn't welcome. That's not a mess up. That's a betrayal. I was scared," he said. "Graham and the others, they what? Didn't approve? So you hid her away like something shameful?" "No, that's not..." "Then what is it?" Ethan's mouth opened, closed. He had no answer that didn't sound as cowardly as it was. Inside the house, he heard movement. Maya appeared behind her mother, wearing sweatpants and one of his old T-shirts. Her eyes were red. "It's okay, Mom," she said quietly. "Let him talk." "Maya, I need to hear him, whatever he says." Carla stepped aside reluctantly. Maya didn't invite him in. They stood on the porch, November cold, seeping through Ethan's jacket. "I'm sorry," he started. "For what exactly? For lying, for taking Chloe, for being ashamed of me." The words stopped him cold. "I'm not..." "Don't lie again, Ethan, please don't lie." Her voice cracked. "You hid me. You chose someone else, someone who fit better into your world. That's what happened. I was afraid they wouldn't accept you." "You were afraid you wouldn't be accepted. There's a difference." She was right. God, she was so right. "I love you," he said desperately. "Maya, I love you so much. I know. But love isn't enough if you can't stand beside me. If you can't be proud of us." "I am proud." "Then why am I standing here instead of waking up in our bed? Why did I have to find out from a website that you lied? Why did I have to walk into that room and see you with another woman just to be acknowledged?" Each question landed like a punch. "I'll fix this," Ethan said. "I'll make it right, whatever it takes." Maya's eyes filled with tears she wouldn't let fall. "You can't fix this with words. Not this time." "Then what? Tell me what to do." "I don't know." She wrapped her arms around herself. "I don't know if there's anything you can do. You chose your reputation over me, Ethan. How do I come back from that?" "Maya, I need space. Time to think, please." She went inside. Carla stayed on the porch, arms crossed. "If you want to fix this," she said quietly, "don't tell her you've changed. Prove it. With actions, not apologies." "How?" "That's for you to figure out. But I'll tell you this. She deserves a man who's proud to love her. Out loud. In public, everywhere. If you can't be that man, let her go." The door closed. Ethan drove home in a daze. At a red light, his phone rang. "Graham." "Hale, where are you?" "Taking a personal day. We need you in the office." "Damage control." "Damage control?" "Half our clients were at that gala. They're asking questions. We need a unified response." "A response about what?" "My marriage." "About your judgment. About whether you can represent this firm professionally." Something snapped inside Ethan. "I'll be in Monday." "That's not—" He hung up. For 2 days, Ethan existed in limbo. He texted Maya every morning. "Good morning, I love you, I'm sorry." She never responded. He went to work Monday expecting consequences. He got them. Graham called him into his office first thing. "Sit down, Hale." Ethan sat. "The partnership committee met yesterday. We've decided to postpone your promotion indefinitely." The words should have devastated him. 6 months ago they would have. Now he just felt tired. "Okay. Okay?" Graham frowned. "That's all you have to say?" "What do you want me to say?" "I want you to understand the position you've put us in. Clients are questioning our judgment. Associates are gossiping. This reflects badly on everyone. Because I'm married to a black woman. Because you brought your secretary as a date while your wife crashed the event. Stop calling it crashing. She was invited. Spouses encouraged. Remember?" Graham's jaw tightened. "Your attitude isn't helping." "My attitude?" Ethan stood up. "Graham, I've worked here 7 years. 7 years of 80-hour weeks and perfect client reviews and doing everything you asked. And the first time I show a crack, you're ready to throw me out. Not because of my work, because of who I married. That's not—" "It is. We both know it is." Ethan felt strangely calm. "I spent 3 years trying to fit in here, trying to be what you wanted. And I destroyed my marriage doing it. This firm is your career. My career isn't my life." Ethan walked toward the door. "I need to think about what that means." He left Graham's office, ignored the stares from colleagues, grabbed his laptop, and went home. That night he sat in their empty house and made a list. Things I need to do: fix my marriage, figure out who I am without this job, stop being afraid. He stared at number 3 for a long time. Then he opened his laptop and started typing. Maya spent the week at her mother's house, trying to work, but mostly staring at fabric samples without seeing them. Her phone buzzed constantly. Friends checking in, her brother threatening to have a talk with Ethan, Rachel offering wine and solidarity, but mostly silence from the person she actually wanted to hear from. Well, not silence. Ethan texted every day. "I love you. I'm sorry. Please, talk to me." But Maya wasn't ready. Wasn't sure if she'd ever be ready. On Wednesday, Jordan showed up at Carla's house during dinner. "Where is he?" her brother demanded. "Jordan, I just want to talk." "No, you want to hit him." Maya stood between her brother and the door. "And that won't help. He hurt you." "I know. But this is my marriage, my choice, okay?" Jordan's jaw worked, but he nodded. "Fine. But if he pulls anything like this again, you'll break him, I know. Thank you for being ready to commit felonies for me." He almost smiled. "That's what big brothers do." After he left, Carla brought Maya tea. "You thinking about going back to him?" "I don't know. Maybe. Eventually." Maya wrapped her hands around the mug. "I love him, Mom, even after everything." "Love isn't the question, baby. Trust is." "I know. Can you trust him again? That's what you need to figure out." Maya went to bed early that night but couldn't sleep. She kept replaying the gala. Not the humiliation. That part she'd processed. But the moment right before she left. The way Ethan looked at her. Frozen, terrified, shattered. He'd made a terrible choice, but she'd seen in his eyes that he knew it, that he'd felt the consequences the second she walked through those doors. Was that enough? Could regret rebuild trust? She didn't know. Thursday morning, something changed. Maya's phone rang. A number she didn't recognize. "Hello? Mrs. Hale, this is Chloe Vance." Ethan's Well, former secretary. Maya sat up. Chloe. Hi. I'm so sorry to call. I got your number from the emergency contact list. I needed to apologize properly. You don't have to. Yes, I do. Chloe's voice shook. I should have asked more questions. When Ethan asked me to the gala, I should have wondered why. Should have realized something was wrong. I was just so excited about the opportunity that I didn't think. It's okay. Really. It's not. And I want you to know. I quit. I can't work for someone who would do that. Who would hide their wife? You seem amazing and you deserve better. Something in Maya's chest loosened slightly. Thank you. That means a lot. I hope you two can work it out. But if you can't, I understand. What he did was wrong. After they hung up, Maya sat with the phone in her hand. Chloe quit. Because of her principles. Because of what she'd seen. What had Ethan done? That afternoon, her curiosity won. She checked Ethan's social media. Something she rarely did. His LinkedIn had changed. Where it used to say Senior Partner Turner and Associates, it now read Independent Marketing Consultant. Maya's heart stuttered. She called Rachel. Did Ethan quit his job? What? When? I don't know. It's on his LinkedIn. Hold on, I'm checking. Pause. Yeah, posted yesterday. Starting a new chapter, building something authentic. Girl! Maya stared at her phone. He quit. Ethan loved that job, worshipped it, built his entire identity around it, and he quit. What does this mean? Rachel asked. I don't know, Maya whispered, but I think I need to find out. That evening, Maya drove home for the first time in 6 days. Her hands shook as she unlocked the door. Inside, the house was quiet, dim. Ethan sat at the dining table, laptop open, papers everywhere. He looked up when she entered. His face was unshaven, his shirt wrinkled. He looked exhausted. Maya, he stood up so fast his chair scraped. I didn't know you quit your job. He froze. You saw. Chloe called me, then I checked. Maya set her purse down slowly. What are you doing, Ethan? Starting over. He gestured at the mess on the table. I'm building my own consultancy. Small clients. Nothing fancy. But it's mine. And I don't have to pretend anymore. Pretend what? That I care more about their approval than I do about you. He took a step toward her. Maya, I've spent the last week thinking about everything. About who I've become. Who I want to be. And I realized that firm, those people, that whole life, it's not worth losing you. So you quit. So I quit. Maya's eyes stung. That's not a small thing. Neither is losing my wife. His voice cracked. You asked me to prove I've changed. Not tell you, prove it. So that's what I'm doing. I don't know if it's enough, but it's a start. They stood in their living room, 6 feet apart, the weight of everything between them. I'm still hurt, Maya said quietly. What you did, choosing that image over me, it broke something, Ethan. I know. And quitting your job doesn't erase that. I know. But, she took a shaky breath, but it's something. It's a start. Hope flickered in his eyes, fragile, terrified. Can I come home? He asked. I'll sleep in the guest room. I'll give you space. Whatever you need. I miss you. Miss our home. Maya looked at him, really looked, at the man she married, the man who'd hurt her, the man who was trying finally to fix what he'd broken. Guest room, she said, for now. Okay, thank you. That night they existed in the same house like polite strangers, Ethan in the guest room, Maya in their bed, but somehow having him near felt right, felt like maybe they could find their way back. In the darkness, Maya whispered to the empty room, please let this be real. Please let him mean it. And 2 doors down, Ethan lay awake, thinking the exact same thing. Living in the same house while broken felt like walking on ice. Maya woke first, made coffee, and retreated to her home office before Ethan emerged. He'd leave breakfast on the counter for her, toast with honey, fruit cut into precise pieces, and text her, made you food, take care of yourself. She'd respond with a simple thank you. They were polite, careful, 2 people who'd forgotten how to be together without hurting each other. On Tuesday, 5 days after Maya came home, Jordan showed up unannounced. Ethan answered the door. Jordan, hey. Maya's brother stood on the porch, arms crossed. He was bigger than Ethan, built from years of physical work, and his expression was not friendly. We need to talk. Okay. Outside. They walked to the driveway. Jordan leaned against his truck, studying Ethan like a problem he was trying to solve. My sister's in there crying at night. Did you know that? Ethan's chest tightened. No? Well, she is. Quiet so you won't hear. But Mom told me. Jordan's jaw worked. You broke her heart, man. I know. Do you? Because from where I'm standing, you humiliated her in front of your whole company, chose some other woman over her, and now you're sleeping down the hall like nothing happened. I quit my job, Ethan said quietly. I'm rebuilding my life. I'm trying to show her I've changed. Trying isn't good enough. I know that too. Jordan pushed off the truck, stepping closer. Listen to me. Maya loves you, God knows why right now, but she does. And if you hurt her again, if you ever make her feel less than amazing again, I will make sure you regret it. We clear? Crystal. Good. Jordan's expression softened slightly. She deserves someone who's proud to stand next to her. Everywhere. All the time. Can you be that guy? I'm learning how. Then learn faster. Jordan headed back to his truck. And Ethan, the guest room thing ends when you earn your way back, not before. After he left, Ethan stood in the driveway for a long time, letting the cold November wind clear his head. That evening, he knocked on Maya's office door. Yeah? Can I come in? She looked up from her laptop. Sure. He sat in the chair across from her desk, the one she used for client meetings. The distance felt intentional. Jordan came by. I figured. He texted me after. He's right. About everything. Maya's hand stilled on her keyboard. Okay. I've been thinking about how to prove I've changed, and I realized words aren't enough. Quitting my job isn't enough. I need to actually be different. What does that mean? Ethan pulled out his phone, showing her a podcast website. There's a local business interview show, small but decent reach. They invited me to talk about leaving corporate and starting my own thing. Okay. I want to tell the truth. About why I left. About what I did to you, publicly. Maya's eyes widened. Ethan, I know it's risky, but people saw what happened at that gala. The story's already out there, twisted and wrong. I want to tell it right. Admit what I did. Take responsibility. That could hurt your new business. Maybe. But hiding is what got us here. He met her eyes. I'm done hiding. If people don't want to work with me because I messed up my marriage and I'm trying to fix it, then they're not the right clients anyway. Maya sat back studying him. When's the interview? Friday, if you'll let me do it. It's not about my permission, Ethan. It's your story too. But it affects you, so I'm asking. She was quiet for a long moment. Then, tell the truth, whatever that means. Relief flooded his face. Thank you. After he left, Maya sat alone in her office, heart racing. He was really doing this, going public, admitting everything. It terrified her, but it also gave her something she'd been missing, hope. The next morning, flowers arrived, not roses. Sunflowers, Maya's favorite. The card read, "No lies, no suits, just me." Maya set them on the kitchen table and stared at them while her coffee went cold. She thought about their wedding, how nervous Ethan had been, how he'd cried during his vows, how happy they'd been before the weight of his career started crushing them. That version of Ethan still existed. She'd seen glimpses of him this past week, in the careful way he made breakfast, in the space he gave her, in the determination in his eyes. But was he strong enough to stay, to not collapse back into fear the first time things got hard? Her phone buzzed. Rachel. Hey girl, how you holding up? I don't know. Better maybe. I saw the flowers on your Instagram story. Sunflowers. He remembered. Yeah. Maya touched one of the petals. He's doing an interview. About everything. The gala. Why he quit? Rachel whistled. That's bold. I know. You think he means it this time? I think he's trying. Whether that's enough. Maya's voice trailed off. I guess we'll see. That weekend, Maya visited her mother. Carla made her favorite, lemon chicken with roasted vegetables, and they ate at the kitchen table like always. He sent me flowers, Maya said. I know. You posted them. Was that weird? Posting them? Carla smiled. Baby, your life is your life. If you want to share flowers, share flowers. I just don't want people to think I'm okay with what he did. Are you? No. But I'm not sure I'm ready to give up either. Her mother reached across the table. There's no rush. Take your time. Feel your feelings. Let him prove himself. What if he can't? What if this is just temporary and he goes back to being afraid? Then you'll know, and you'll make whatever choice is right for you. Carla squeezed her hand. But Maya, give yourself permission to forgive if he earns it. Don't punish him forever just because you're scared of being hurt again. The words settled into Maya's chest like stones, heavy, but somehow grounding. When did you get so wise? About 50 years ago, Carla winked. You were just too young to notice. On Friday, Ethan did the interview. Maya listened from her office, laptop open to the podcast live stream, heart in her throat. The host started with easy questions. How long had Ethan worked at Turner and Associates? What made him decide to go independent? Then, there's been some buzz on social media about why you left. Want to address that? Ethan's voice came through clear, steady. Yeah, I want to be honest about it because the story matters. Go ahead. A few weeks ago, my firm held a gala. Spouses were invited. I told my wife, Maya, that spouses weren't required. Then I brought my secretary instead. The host made a sympathetic noise. That must have been complicated. No, it was cowardly. Ethan's voice didn't waver. My wife is black, I'm white, and I was afraid of how my colleagues would judge me for that, so I hid her. I chose image over love, and when she showed up at that gala looking absolutely beautiful, I realized exactly what I'd done. Maya's hand covered her mouth. She walked in with so much grace, Ethan continued, so much dignity, and I was standing there with another woman, having lied to her face. That moment changed everything for me, because I saw what fear had turned me into. Someone I didn't recognize, someone I didn't want to be. What happened next? She left, and I spent the next week realizing that my job, my reputation, all of it meant nothing without her. So I quit, started over, and now I'm trying to become the man she deserves, the man who's proud to love her, out loud, everywhere. How's that going? Ethan laughed, but it sounded sad. Honestly, I don't know. She's still hurt, still figuring out if she can trust me again, and I don't blame her. But I'll spend the rest of my life proving I've changed if that's what it takes. That's powerful, man. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for letting me. And Maya, if you're listening, I love you. I'm so sorry, and I'm not giving up on us. The interview moved on to business strategy, but Maya barely heard it. She sat at her desk, tears streaming down her face, listening to her husband publicly admit everything. This was real. He meant it. When the interview ended, Maya walked downstairs. Ethan sat at the dining table, laptop closed, looking drained. You listened, he said quietly. Yeah. And? She crossed the room and sat next to him. Not across. Next to. You called me beautiful. You are. You said you'd spend your life proving you changed. I will. Maya took his hand. The first time she'd touched him intentionally since the gala. His fingers closed around hers like a lifeline. I'm still hurt, she said. What you did still breaks my heart when I think about it. I know, but I heard you today. Really heard you. And I think, maybe, we can find our way back. Ethan's eyes filled with tears. Yeah, one step at a time, slowly, with honesty. Whatever you need. I need you to keep being this person, the one who tells the truth even when it's hard, who doesn't hide. Can you do that? Yes, I swear. Maya squeezed his hand. Then maybe we have a chance. That night, they sat on the couch together, still not touching much, but close enough to feel each other's presence. They watched a movie neither paid attention to, shared popcorn, laughed at the same stupid joke. It felt almost normal, almost like home. When bedtime came, Ethan stood to go to the guest room. Ethan? He turned. Not yet, Maya said. But soon, okay? His smile was tired but real. Okay. Over the next 2 weeks, something shifted. Ethan's interview went viral. Not huge, but enough. Articles picked it up. Executive quits after admitting he hid his black wife. The comments ranged from supportive to brutal. Some people praised his honesty. Others called him every name imaginable. A few potential clients backed out, but others reached out saying they respected his integrity. Through it all, Ethan stayed steady. He built his consultancy from their dining room table, took meetings on Zoom in casual clothes, laughed when things went wrong, celebrated small victories, and slowly, carefully he rebuilt his relationship with Maya. They started having breakfast together, then dinner, then weekend mornings with coffee, and the newspaper spread between them. Maya showed him her latest design projects. He offered marketing ideas. She made him laugh. He made her feel seen. One afternoon, he helped her set up her new website. They worked side by side for hours, arguing about fonts and colors in the way only couples can, annoyed but amused, frustrated but fond. The blue is better, Maya insisted. The blue is aggressive. It's bold. It's attacking my eyeballs. She threw a pillow at him. He caught it, laughing, and for a second they were just themselves again, just Maya and Ethan, before everything broke. I missed this, she said quietly. Me too. We were good once. We'll be good again. Better even. Maya wanted to believe him, and slowly she was starting to. 3 weeks after the gala, Maya's client invited her to an art show. It's at that gallery downtown, her client explained. They want to feature local designers. Your work would be perfect. Maya hesitated. Public events still made her nervous after everything. But then she thought about walking into that ballroom in gold, about choosing dignity over fear. "I'll do it," she said. That night, she told Ethan. "That's amazing," he said immediately. "When is it?" "Next Saturday." "Can I come, or would that be—" "I don't want to make it about me." "You can come." Maya smiled slightly. "But I'm the star this time. You're just there to look pretty." He grinned. "Deal." The week passed in a blur of preparation. Maya selected her best pieces. Her client coordinated with the gallery. Rachel helped her choose an outfit. Emerald green this time. Elegant but powerful. On Saturday evening, they drove downtown together. In the car, Ethan reached for her hand. "Thank you," he said, "for letting me be here. Thank you for wanting to be." The gallery was small but beautiful. White walls, track lighting. Her designs mounted like art. People filtered in, potential clients, other designers, art enthusiasts. Maya's heart raced, but she held her head high. Ethan stayed in the background, exactly as promised. He didn't hover, didn't interrupt her conversations, just watched her shine. At one point, a reporter approached. "Maya Hale, can I ask you a few questions?" "Sure." "Your work is stunning. How long have you been designing?" They talked about her process, her inspiration, her vision, natural and easy. Then, "I read about your husband's interview. That must have been a difficult time." Maya's smile didn't falter. "It was. But we're working through it, building something stronger. He's here tonight, right?" "He is." Maya glanced across the room where Ethan stood admiring one of her pieces. "That's him, my husband, my biggest supporter now." Now? He had to learn how to be. But he did, and that's what matters. The reporter smiled. "That's a beautiful story. It's a real one." After the reporter left, Ethan appeared at her elbow. "You okay?" "Yeah. Actually, I'm great. You look it. You're glowing." "That's because I'm standing in my own light," she said. "Not anyone else's." His eyes softened. "I love you so much." "I know. I'm starting to believe it again." Near the end of the evening, Maya noticed someone entering the gallery. Graham Turner. Her stomach dropped. Ethan saw him too, his whole body tensing. Graham walked directly to them, his expression unreadable. "Maya," he said, "your work is impressive." "Thank you." "Ethan," Graham nodded. "Didn't expect to see you here. Wouldn't miss it. My wife's a star." Something flickered in Graham's expression. Discomfort, maybe. Or regret. "I heard your interview," Graham said. "Quite the confession. Just the truth. Cost you some clients, I imagine." "Gained more than I lost." Graham's jaw tightened. "Well, best of luck to you both." He extended his hand. Ethan looked at it for a long moment. Then he spoke, calm and clear. "You taught me a lot, Graham. About business, about ambition. But you also taught me what I don't want to be. So thanks for that, too." He didn't take the hand. Graham's face flushed. He turned and left without another word. Maya grabbed Ethan's arm. I know. He's one of the most powerful executives in Chicago, and I don't care." Ethan turned to face her fully. "I spent years trying to earn his approval, trying to fit into his world, and it almost destroyed us. I'm done with that. I'm done with people who think image matters more than integrity." Maya's eyes shone. "You finally stood up." "I did." "How'd it look?" "Like the man I married." They stood together in that gallery, surrounded by her art, and something between them finally settled. Not fixed completely, trust took time to rebuild, but healing, real, solid, theirs. That night, they drove home in comfortable silence. At a red light, Ethan spoke. "Can I ask you something?" "Sure." "What made you come to that gala? You could have just confronted me at home, could have left me, but you got dressed up and walked in there like a queen. Why?" Maya thought about it. "Because I needed to see your face, needed to know if you'd choose me or choose them, and I needed to choose me, my dignity, my worth. Walking in there wasn't about revenge, it was about remembering who I am. And who are you?" She smiled. "Someone who deserves to be chosen every time, no matter who's watching." "You are," Ethan said fiercely. "I choose you. I'll always choose you. Prove it." "I will. Every single day." At home, they stood in the hallway between their bedroom and the guest room. Maya looked at both doors, then at Ethan. "Not tonight," she said gently. "But soon. We're getting there." "We are," he agreed. But as she turned toward their room, Ethan caught her hand. "Maya, thank you for not giving up on me, on us. Thank you for becoming someone worth coming back to." She kissed his cheek, soft and brief and full of promise, then disappeared into their room. Ethan stood in the hallway. touching his face where her lips had been, and smiled. They weren't fixed, but they were healing, and sometimes that was enough. December arrived with the kind of cold that made Chicago residents question their life choices. Maya woke to frost on the windows and the smell of coffee drifting upstairs. She wrapped herself in a robe and padded down to find Ethan in the kitchen, making breakfast. "Morning," he said, sliding a mug toward her. "Made it how you like it. 2 sugars, splash of cream?" "Exactly." She sipped. Perfect. He'd been paying attention. They ate together at the kitchen table, scrambled eggs, toast, fruit. Normal things that felt extraordinary after weeks of careful distance. "I have a client call at 9, Ethan said. "Small business owner in Naperville. She saw the interview and wants help rebranding." "That's great." "Yeah." She specifically said she liked that I was honest about messing up, said it made me more trustworthy, not less. Maya smiled. "People appreciate authenticity." "Guess so." He hesitated. "Are you working today?" "Finishing up a logo design. Then I might meet Rachel for lunch. Tell her I said hi." "I will." It was such an ordinary conversation, such a married conversation, and Maya realized how much she'd missed this, the simple act of sharing their days. After breakfast, Ethan disappeared into his makeshift office. Maya worked in hers, the house quiet except for occasional typing and phone calls. Around 11, her phone rang. Her mother. "Hey, Mum." "Hey, baby. How are things?" "Good. Better. He's still sleeping in the guest room?" Maya smiled. "Yeah, but I think that's changing soon." "Oh?" Carla's voice lifted with interest. "You ready for that?" "Getting there. He's been so patient, Mom. So intentional about rebuilding trust. I can see how hard he's trying." "That's good. Real change takes time." "I know, and I'm not rushing, but I think we're going to make it." "I think so too, baby. He's finally fighting for you the way he should have been all along." After they hung up, Maya sat with that thought, fighting for her. Ethan had spent weeks proving he'd changed. Small gestures, big sacrifices, consistent effort. He'd torn down the life he'd built and started over, all because he finally understood what mattered. That evening, Maya made dinner. Real dinner. Her grandmother's recipe for jerk chicken with rice and peas. The kitchen filled with spices and warmth. Ethan appeared in the doorway. "That smells incredible." "Family recipe. Haven't made it in months." "Special occasion?" She turned to look at him. "Maybe. We'll see." They ate together, talking about their days, laughing at small things. The conversation flowed easily, naturally, the way it used to before everything got complicated. After dinner, they cleaned up together. Maya washed, Ethan dried. Their arms brushed occasionally, sending small sparks of awareness through her. "Maya?" Ethan set down the dish towel. "Yeah? I know we're taking things slow, and I respect that. But I need you to know, every day with you, even like this, even just having breakfast and dinner and existing in the same space, it's everything to me. You're everything to me." Her throat tightened. "Ethan, I'm not asking for anything. I just wanted you to know. In case you were wondering if I still felt the same way I did when we got married. I do. More, actually, because now I understand how close I came to losing you." Maya set down the plate she was washing and turned to face him fully. "I was so angry at you," she said quietly. "After the gala, I felt humiliated and betrayed and like I'd wasted 3 years loving someone who couldn't love me back properly. I know. You had every right, but watching you these past weeks, the interview, the way you've shown up, the way you let me set the pace, I'm not angry anymore. I'm healing. We're healing. We are." She took a breath. "I think I'm ready." "Ready for what?" "For you to come back to our room." Ethan's eyes widened. "Maya, if you're not sure, I'm sure. Not because everything's perfect, but because I trust you again. Enough to try." He crossed the kitchen and pulled her into his arms. She let herself sink into him, breathing in his familiar scent, feeling his heart beat against hers. "I love you," he whispered into her hair. "I love you so much. I love you too. Even when I didn't want to, I did." They stood like that for a long time, holding each other in their kitchen, the weight of the past weeks finally lifting. That night, Ethan moved his things back into their bedroom. It felt significant, sacred almost, like a new beginning wrapped in familiar surroundings. They lay in bed together, not touching yet, but close enough to feel each other's warmth. "This is weird," Maya said into the darkness. Ethan laughed. "Yeah, we've shared this bed for 3 years, and suddenly I'm nervous." "Me too." She rolled toward him. In the dim light from the window, she could just make out his face. "We're going to be okay," she said. "Aren't we?" "Better than okay. I promise. He reached for her hand. She laced her fingers through his. And they fell asleep like that, together finally after weeks of being apart in the same house. The next few weeks felt like rediscovery. They remembered how to be married, how to laugh together, how to move around each other in the kitchen, how to share space without walking on eggshells. Ethan's business grew steadily. He took on clients who valued honesty and creativity over prestige. He worked from home, often stopping by Maya's office just to bring her tea or ask her opinion on a marketing strategy. Maya's design business flourished too. The art show had brought in 3 new clients. Her Instagram following grew. People responded to her work. The colors, the energy, the joy in every piece. One afternoon, Jordan stopped by with takeout. "Heard you two are back together for real," he said, unpacking Thai food. "Yeah," Maya smiled. "For real. He treating you right?" "He is." Jordan studied Ethan across the table. "You better keep it that way." "I will," Ethan said seriously. "I learned my lesson." "Good, because I'm watching." But Jordan's expression softened. "I'm glad you figured it out, man. Maya's happier. That's what matters." After Jordan left, Ethan pulled Maya close. "Your family's protective of you. Always have been. It's kind of their thing. I like it. Means you're loved." "So are you," Maya said. "They wouldn't threaten you if they didn't care." He laughed. "That's a terrifying kind of love? The best kind." Christmas approached and they decorated together, the first holiday they'd faced since the gala. Maya pulled out ornaments while Ethan wrestled with the tree stand. "This thing is impossible," he muttered. "You say that every year." "Because it's true every year." She laughed, hanging a crystal snowflake on a branch. "Remember our first Christmas? In that tiny apartment with the tree that barely fit. And you burned the cookies. Hey, the smoke alarm added ambiance." They worked in comfortable silence, building something beautiful together. The tree came together slowly. Lights, ornaments, tinsel. When they finished, they stood back to admire it. "It's perfect," Maya said. "It's crooked. It's perfectly crooked." Ethan wrapped his arms around her from behind, resting his chin on her shoulder. "Thank you." "For what?" "For forgiving me. For giving me another chance. For being you." She turned in his arms. "Thank you for becoming someone worthy of all that." They kissed, slow and sweet and full of promise. That weekend they drove to Carla's house for Sunday dinner. The whole family was there. Carla, Jordan, Jordan's girlfriend Tasha, and a few cousins. The house buzzed with noise and laughter and the smell of roasted chicken. "Maya!" Carla pulled her into a hug. "And Ethan. Good to see you, baby." "Good to see you too, Mrs. Ellis. How many times I got to tell you, call me Carla." They ate together around the dining table. Too many people, too little space. Everyone talking over each other. Exactly how Sunday dinners should be. Afterward, Carla pulled Maya aside in the kitchen. "You two look happy," she said quietly. "We are. Really happy. He's different now. I can see it. He is. And so am I. Stronger, I think." Carla cupped Maya's face. "My beautiful girl. I'm so proud of you. For standing up for yourself, for choosing dignity, for being brave enough to forgive when he earned it." Tears pricked Maya's eyes. "Thanks, Mom. Now go on. Rejoin your husband. He's in there looking lost without you." Maya laughed and returned to the living room, where Ethan was deep in conversation with Jordan about engine repair, something he knew nothing about, but was gamely trying to understand. She sat beside him, and his hand immediately found hers. This was home. Not the house they lived in, but this, family, laughter, belonging. And for the first time since the gala, Maya felt completely whole. New Year's Eve arrived cold and clear. They'd been invited to Rachel's party, but Maya wasn't sure she wanted to go. "Too many people," she said, lying on their bed. "Too many questions." "We don't have to go," Ethan said. "We could stay in, order pizza, watch the ball drop on TV." "That sounds perfect." So they did exactly that. They ordered too much food, changed into comfortable clothes and curled up on the couch together. The TV played in the background, but they barely watched it. Instead, they talked. About the year, about everything that had happened, about what they wanted for the future. "I want to grow my business," Maya said. "Maybe hire an assistant, take on bigger projects." "You should. You're incredibly talented." "What about you? What do you want?" Ethan was quiet for a moment. "I want to keep building something I'm proud of. Work that matters, clients who value authenticity, and I want to be a better husband, the kind who shows up, who's proud of his wife, always." "You're already that person." "I'm becoming him. Still work to do. We all have work to do. That's life, As midnight approached, they stood at their living room window, watching fireworks begin across the city. New Year, Ethan said. New start. We already started. Weeks ago. Then a continuation. A better chapter. The countdown began on TV. 10, 9, 8. Maya turned to Ethan. Whatever this year brings, we face it together. Deal? Deal. 3, 2, 1. Fireworks exploded across Chicago. The TV erupted with celebration, and Ethan kissed Maya like she was the only thing that mattered, because she was. When they pulled apart, both were smiling. Happy New Year, Maya whispered. Happy New Year. Here's to us. To us. And to not messing it up again, he laughed. I'll drink to that. They stayed up late, talking and laughing and existing together in the peaceful space they'd rebuilt from broken pieces, and when they finally went to bed, Maya curled into Ethan's arms and thought about the gala. That night had nearly destroyed them, but in a strange way it had also saved them, because it forced Ethan to confront his fear, forced Maya to demand better, forced both of them to decide what their marriage was really worth. They'd chosen each other, chosen love, chosen the hard work of rebuilding, and now on the other side of pain they were stronger. In mid-January, Maya got an email that changed everything. A major interior design firm had seen her work at the art show. They wanted to feature her designs in their spring collection, a collaboration, national exposure. She read the email 3 times, barely breathing, then she ran to find Ethan. Look at this. Look at this right now. He read, his eyes widening. Maya, this is huge. I know. It's everything I've been working toward. You have to do it. It's a lot of work, months of collaboration. I'd need to expand my business, probably hire help. So do it. You're ready. More than ready. She stared at the email, heart racing. This is scary. I know. But you're not doing it alone. I'm here. Your whole family's here. We'll support you. Maya looked up at him. You mean that? Absolutely. This is your dream, Maya. I'm not going to let you talk yourself out of it because you're scared. She threw her arms around him. Thank you. Thank you for believing in me. Always. You're a star, remember? I'm just here to make sure you shine. She pulled back, eyes shining. No, you shine too. We both do. Together. Together, he agreed. That night, Maya accepted the collaboration. Over the following weeks, her life transformed. Conference calls with design executives, contract negotiations, sketches and revisions and more sketches. Ethan supported her through all of it. He took over dinner duties, handled household tasks, gave her space to create, and he never once made it about himself. One evening, Maya emerged from her office, exhausted. Ethan had dinner waiting, pasta with garlic bread, simple but perfect. You didn't have to do this, she said. I wanted to. You've been working so hard. They ate together, and Maya felt overwhelmed with gratitude. I couldn't do this without you, she said. You know that, right? You could, but I'm glad you don't have to. Remember last year, when you were so focused on your career that I felt invisible sometimes? Yeah, I remember. This is different. You see me now, really see me. Because I almost lost you. That changes a person. She reached across the table, taking his hand. We're going to make it, aren't we? For real this time. No more hiding. No more fear. No more hiding, Ethan agreed. Just us. Honest and proud and together. I like the sound of that. Me too. In February, the design firm invited Maya to a launch event in New York. Bring your husband, they said. We'd love to meet him. Maya's first instinct was anxiety. Public events still made her nervous after the gala. But then she looked at Ethan, patient, supportive, changed, and made a decision. Want to go to New York with me? She asked. Are you sure? I'm sure. I want you there. Want to show you off. His face lit up. I'd be honored. They flew to New York on a Friday. The event was Saturday night at a gallery in Soho. Maya wore a new dress, emerald green, elegant, stunning. Ethan wore a simple suit, nothing flashy. At the gallery, her designs were featured prominently. Large prints on the walls, fabric samples displayed like art, her name in beautiful calligraphy. This is incredible, Ethan breathed. I'm terrified. Don't be. They love your work. They're going to love you. He was right. People approached her all night. Designers, executives, journalists. They praised her vision, her creativity, her unique perspective. And through it all, Ethan stood beside her. Not in front, not behind, beside. When a journalist asked about her inspiration, Maya smiled. My life, she said simply. My family, my experiences, and my husband, who reminds me every day that I'm worth being proud of." The journalist turned to Ethan. "That's beautiful. What's it like being married to such a talented woman?" Ethan didn't hesitate. "It's the greatest privilege of my life. She's brilliant and kind and stronger than anyone I know. I'm just lucky she chose me." Maya's eyes filled with tears. Later, on the hotel balcony overlooking the city, they stood together in the cold February air. "Thank you," Maya said, "for tonight, for being exactly who I needed you to be. I didn't do anything special." "Yes, you did. You showed up. You stood beside me. You were proud. That's everything." Ethan pulled her close. "I'll always show up, Maya, for the rest of our lives, I promise." "I believe you." They kissed under New York lights, two people who'd been broken and rebuilt, stronger than before. When they returned to Chicago, life settled into a new rhythm. Maya's business exploded. She hired an assistant, took on bigger projects. Her designs appeared in magazines and showrooms across the country. Ethan's consultancy thrived too. He built a reputation for integrity and creativity. His client base grew steadily. They worked from home, often taking breaks to have lunch together or walk around the neighborhood. They supported each other's dreams without competition or resentment. They were partners, real partners. Finally, one Saturday in March, they drove to Carla's house for dinner. The family gathered around the table, Carla, Jordan, and Tasha, a few cousins, everyone talking and laughing. At one point, Carla raised her glass. "I want to make a toast," she said. "To Maya and Ethan, you two went through fire this year, but you came out stronger. I'm proud of you both." "Hear, hear," Jordan added. "And Ethan, I guess you're all right." Everyone laughed. Ethan stood, raising his own glass. "I want to say something too. I messed up badly last year. I let fear control me, and I hurt the woman I love. But Maya," he turned to her, eyes shining, "you gave me grace I didn't deserve. You let me prove I'd changed. You chose forgiveness when you could have chosen anger. You're the strongest person I know, and I'll spend the rest of my life trying to deserve you." Maya's throat tightened. "And to this family," Ethan continued, "thank you for not giving up on me either, for holding me accountable, for loving Maya enough to make sure I treated her right. I'm grateful for all of you." The table erupted in agreement. Carla wiped her eyes. "All right, enough with the emotions. Let's eat before the food gets cold." They ate and laughed and celebrated being together, and later, driving home under Chicago stars, Maya reached for Ethan's hand. "I'm happy," she said simply. "Really, truly happy." "Me too. We made it through." "We did. And we'll make it through whatever comes next, too." "You sound confident." "I am, because I know what matters now. Us, love, truth. Everything else is just noise." Maya smiled. "When did you get so wise?" "When I almost lost everything and realized what I was throwing away." They pulled into their driveway, their home, the place where they'd broken and healed and learned to love each other better. Inside, they changed into comfortable clothes and curled up on the couch together. No TV, no phones, just quiet presence. "Ethan," Maya said softly. "Yeah? Thank you for fighting for us, for becoming the man I always knew you could be. Thank you for letting me, for seeing me even when I couldn't see myself." She kissed him, slow and deep and full of everything they'd survived. When they pulled apart, both were smiling. "I love you," Maya whispered. "All of you, even the parts that are still learning. I love you too, more than I have words for." They stayed like that for a long time, wrapped in each other, wrapped in peace. Outside, winter was fading into spring. New life, pushing through frozen ground. Possibilities everywhere. And inside, two people who'd chosen each other, again and again and again, sat together in the home they'd rebuilt. Not perfect, but real, honest, strong, theirs. Maya thought about that night at the gala, walking through those doors in gold, seeing Ethan's face when she appeared. The moment everything shattered, it had been the worst night of her life, and somehow the beginning of the best chapter, because sometimes things have to break before they can be rebuilt into something beautiful. Sometimes love requires courage, to demand better, to offer forgiveness, to try again. Sometimes the hardest thing and the right thing are the same thing, and sometimes, just sometimes, people actually change. Maya looked at her husband, truly looked at him, and saw not the man who'd hurt her, but the man who'd fought to make things right. She saw their future, bright and open and full of promise. She saw them, finally, completely, proudly them. "Hey," Ethan said, noticing her staring. "What are you thinking about?" Maya smiled. How far we've come, how much we've grown. Any regrets? Not anymore. Everything we went through, it made us stronger, made us real. I used to be so afraid of what people would think, Ethan said quietly. Afraid of judgment, of not fitting in, and that fear nearly destroyed the best thing in my life. But it didn't. We're still here, because of you, because you're brave enough to shine on your own, with or without me. But better with you, Maya said. When you're really you, no pretense, no fear, just the man I fell in love with. That's who I want to be, every day, for the rest of our lives. Then that's who you'll be. They kissed again, and it felt like a promise, a vow renewed, a love reborn. Outside, the first stars appeared in the Chicago sky. Inside, Maya and Ethan Hale held each other and knew, finally, absolutely knew, that they were going to be okay, better than okay. They were going to shine together. The end.